welcome back to our Firearm Engage low-tier LTC. With a bunch of new resources available, we can now take on John's Paralogue, which is required for this full recruitment run. This map required a ton of different preparations. We promoted Lapis and reclassed her to Griffin Knight, giving her a ton of mobility here with Warp Ragnarok. We also promoted Diamant, giving him enough movement to reach the left axe fighter with advance. We begrudgingly gave Alcryst Canter, allowing him to move 2 spaces left after killing the Cavalier and letting him body block the village in combination with Fram's Obstruct. Lastly, we upforged Yunaka's Iron Dagger all the way to +4 so that she can one-round the bottom right group.
I just have to say, that armorslayer Cavalier is the weirdest enemy in the game. Or at least, like, top 3. He has no movement, he's passive, and he has linked AI with the mage near him. That mage is also passive until that Cavalier is attacked, which is why we needed Alcryst to kill him on player phase. Similarly, the axe fighter on the top left is also passive as long as the house is unattended. With those 2 enemies gone, and the path to the village blocked, the rest of the enemies will suicide on enemy phase.
I'd like to talk a bit about the choice to reclass Lapis to Griffin Knight over Diamant. While these two are statistically very similar units, their minor differences do add up to the point that the two of them would not be able to swap roles in this run. Lapis has 1 more strength than Diamant, which at this pace is a significant advantage. While strength is irrelevant for this map, we are going to invest in Lapis for a while. Her strength lead, and to a lesser extent her lower internal level, makes her easier to train. Our limited access to second seals also means one of them must stay in their base class, and Diamant's is far superior to Lapis's options of Swordmaster and Hero. Going back to their personal stats, Diamant is also slightly bulkier, which will matter later on for manipulating enemy targeting.
On that subject, Lapis also has an avoid boosting personal skill, which we already saw come into play back in Chapter 7. Diamant's meanwhile gives more hit on player phase, which will be more useful at this point in the game where they're some of our best combat units. Finally, in addition to having different support lists, Lapis gives 15 hit at B support compared to the standard 10, which makes a huge difference in long enemy phases.
Anna manages to exactly hit level 10, taking a grand total of 5 turns over 3 maps to reach promotion. Considering that we weren't even sure if she could promote before Chapter 12 when we started planning this run, she's already far exceeded expectations. Not just the promotion time, but also how effectively she used Mercurius along the way.
With Seraphim's effective damage, Lapis can... Oh. As I was saying, with Seraphim's effective damage, Lapis can easily delete all the enemies in the top right area, as long as she can dodge a 75 from the Archer boss to complete John's Paralogue in 1 turn.
Up next is Chapter 9. After 5 consecutive chapters of pain, we finally get to enjoy a breather chapter with a 100% chance of success. Our new recruit, Jean, immediately gets to contribute as our second staff user, placing a second obstruct to boost Lapis forward. When Alir performs the group rewarp, the game will first try to place Lapis below her. Since Fram's obstruct is also occupying that tile, it will then try to place her in an adjacent tile closest to where she originally was. Those tiles are also occupied by Jade and Jean's obstruct, so the only adjacent tile remaining is to the right.
Anna, now freed from the shackles of Axe Fighter, has been promoted and reclassed into Sage for higher magic and staff access. While Mage Knight was a consideration, we found that magic benchmarks were far more difficult to reach than speed, and the staff access will be mandatory for some later maps.
With a Roy engraved Armorslayer, Diamant's Override will be able to one-shot the Armor Knights along with the Spirit Dust Mage. As satisfying as this override is, the extra XP and SP don't really help that much, and we would have preferred not wasting the gold buying the Armorslayer.
Finally, Roy Lapis will be our boss killer, immediately putting her +1 strength over Diamant to good use. She needs only a Marth engraved javelin +1 to 1 round Ivy, completing Chapter 9 in 1 turn.